Hey there, we're Brothers Osborne, and this is the High Notes. Particularly with this latest record, you can definitely hear our influences, and they span all the way from really old school country to I think even 90s stuff, to blues, to rock, singer-songwriter stuff. We just kind of grew up in a house where we didn't distinguish between what genres were. We just had music we liked and didn't like, and I think that is definitely a huge reason why we sound the way we do.
TJ and I started playing together as kids in a family band with our dad, but as an official duo, 14 years, 13 years, something like that. I mean, we've always played together. We've always written together. I mean, hell, we were in like orchestra together in high school. We've always done music together, but calling it an official duo, I would say like around 2010 is when we started.
You know, we grew up with music just in the house always. So both of our parents wrote songs, and we just wanted to originally join the family band, sitting around the table and kind of learn how to play guitar. But then we joined orchestra. We grew up in a lower middle class family, and they couldn't afford to send us to college. So they're like, you have to learn this instrument so you can get a scholarship. We were wretched violin players. So then we switched to playing bass, upright bass. We were big.
We couldn't afford two uprights, so we just shared it. We weren't both playing at the same time. That would be kind of awkward. Yeah. For our lessons, it would be he'd play it, and then we'd switch, and I would play it. Yeah.
And so we did that all the way through kind of middle school up through high school. Then I started playing bluegrass, upright bass for a while, which is really ultimately what kept me here in Nashville, was being an upright player. That one shift of just trying to get a scholarship would end up not getting me a scholarship. However, changing my life for sure.
You guys have a new album coming out. What sort of new pathways are you two trying to forge with this new album?
With every album that we've put out, we've always tried to do something a little bit different. Art should not only challenge the listener, but it should challenge the person that's making it as well. It's easy to become complacent and do what has worked before, and there is certainly elements of that in everyone's form of art. At the end of the day, we're trying to do something that's fun for us, and that is fun for us. There are elements of like synthesizers on this record that we've never done before. There are big string sections that we've never done before. There's a piano ballad that we've never done before. There's a song that sounds like the Bee Gees that we've never done before, surprisingly.
You know, we wanted to record this self-titled album. We kind of thought on our previous records, we had kind of jumped around with a lot of our influences just by the nature of it and the nature of us. And so we really wanted to kind of hone in on a specific theme sonically. And then we were trying that, and it just started feeling contrived. And we just thought, let's kind of let the songs lead the way. And there was a lot of songs that we liked that had lots of different influences from us. I was, speaking with someone yesterday, said that they heard the Average White Band in there, which is, inevitably would come out with our, Dad's a huge fan of theirs.
We are, in fact, an average white band.
Yeah,
too.
The irony of it all, yeah.
Okay.
And you can call this whatever you want to call it. Again, it's going back to why we originally listened to music. It wasn't because it was a certain genre or a certain era. It was just we liked it.
It's easy to want to get away from this person that you grew up and become some other thing, and it never really works out great for people. The family is there as an anchor to keep you from straying too far. They'll let you go, but they'll always bring you back. It's those reminders of where you come from, and the further along in your career that you get, you realize that is actually the most important thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's family. That is who you truly are. And they're there just to remind you not to get too full of yourself, because they will bring you back down to earth if they want to.
Oh yeah, our family there's no problem doing that.
No.
They know who we are, and we could try to pretend to be whoever. They know that we're ultimately just a bunch of dorks.
Mm-hmm. So TJ, you came out 2 years ago. What has grown with regards to your songwriting ability and your presence as an artist since that?
Since coming out, it's really interesting, because it's like who I am now. It's hard for me to even remember exactly who I was before, and maybe that's just out of protection for me, because it would probably hurt to go there. I've talked a lot lately just about how hard it is for all of us to be ourselves. And I mean, that's just how you identify. It could be something as large as your sexuality or your gender identity, but it could be something as little as what type of jeans you're gonna wear, or if you're gonna wear high tops, or you want square-toe cowboy boots. These are all things everyone struggles with their entire life. And I feel like, finally, for a lot of reasons, that feel like not only am I out and happy, but I think just getting to a place where I accept myself. Going into create, that's like the worst thing. I mean, if you're walking in there, and I just never even really realized how much effort I would spend trying to avoid a certain topic or trying to swerve the song this way, or like, God, I hope they don't bring this up, or or being in an interview and could be like, God, I hope they don't ask me about my relationships, or it was just really heavy and annoying and distracting. And so now being able to be in a place where we're not necessarily, the album doesn't specifically talk about any of these things directly, but I think being able to have created it with no no parameters anymore was just so freeing. And so it was just made the process a lot more fun. So being able to go in and not have that kind of core fear in me as we're going to create or do things like this has just made the process just wildly more enjoyable for me. It was the first time I was able to actually be able to create that in my own skin and be very comfortable with who I am.
It's not a version of yourself, it's yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's great. John, what's your connection to Country Music Hall of Fame?
I was in a band previous to this, and we were all starting to get together and do some things and tour a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna go wait some tables at the Country Music Hall of Fame for 6 months. Well, that turned into nearly 5 years. So I would stay up late at night, gig, wake up hungover, go and open the restaurant up, close the restaurant up, go out and gig, and it was just rinse and repeat for about 4.5, 5 years.
They did have the best chicken tenders.
Great chicken tenders, especially if you were hungover.
Especially, yeah, and sweet tea.
I was seeing our exhibit in there. It was like the purest definition of like the American
Started from the bottom,
dream.
now we're here.
Like literally started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
Literally the bottom. It was the bottom floor, and now we're like up 3 floors, and there's an exhibit with our clothes and guitars. But I would wait on people. I would wait on country musicians and artists and stuff like that. And so when we had our first exhibit there years ago, the Hall of Fame had been connected to the hotel, and it got really big. It doesn't look anything like it did when we worked there. But we walked through the kitchen to get there, and it was like all these people that we worked with, the manager
cool.
that we worked with, some of the staff that we worked with. If we were a little smaller, they would have lifted us up on their shoulders. It was such an amazing thing. When you don't know, when you're 21 years old and you think that you're going to make it and it's not working and you're waiting tables, you question yourself, and then you look back at that time and it feels like it was a millisecond ago, and you're like, he did it, that dude did it, which is kind of amazing. Those are the high notes. Shout out to CMA for having us. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Hell yeah, check these out. This is like your new best friend, especially on red carpets. And I'll walk around the Grammys and I would just go up to people and do this in their face and like, yeah. Yeah, some random weirdo putting a fan in your face, but then when you realize that it's like the greatest feeling in the world on a red carpet, you just lean into it.